There's no's I've had in my career. I'm like, you know what? Looking back, that I wouldn't have been ready to do that then.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because there's a guy who goes around telling people, oh yeah, you know. So there was a show, and you know, he's told my manager Polly, he's like, oh look, you know, I'd love to get Mo on this show, but I hadn't seen him. You know, I spent a lot of my early career of like, can he do it? You know, my manager's like, yeah, of course he can do it. Like, like he's sick. Like he can do it. Yeah. He's like, oh, I want to see him though. I want to see him. So, you know, I had this show in Greenwich. So he's come to the show. So when I know someone's in the room, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna just turn it up a level because whenever I perform anyway, I always have this thing where I want to make everyone laugh in the room, but I was still at a stage in my career where I need to be remembered. And I was writing a lot of material. I was like, you're going to remember this. I want this to be material where I seen this guy the other day. I can't remember his name, but he done this kind of joke. Just so it gives you something where he's like, maybe he's, what's his name? I was literally making it. I spent most probably about a good 2-3 years after I kind of left Sunday show, creating bits of material that I'd literally just almost finished doing last year for the Netflix special. A lot of that material was all stuff where I was like, yeah, cool. People remember this. If you don't like this bit, but they might remember that. So I remember getting to the show, you know, my manager's like, yeah, cool, man. Have a good one. Don't be nervous. Just go out there. I'm like, cool, man. I'm a person where you see pressure, right? I've grown up in an environment where it's like no one, like we didn't have a lot, but we didn't know we was poor. Yeah. So there never felt like a pressure to have certain things. You just grow up being like, right, I'll have a Nike tracksuit, but if I can't get one, it's calm, innit? So I didn't have this level of pressure that I used to get from stand-up comedy. I just wanted to be good and be the best in the room. So when I do a lot, you know, yeah. What I was saying, big man, I didn't have a lot of pressure. No. But I think for me, when I used to perform, because I didn't have that pressure, I was just like, I need to be the best because I just can't be nervous. I have no time to be nervous. So even now to this day, I don't face nerves. I get a bit anxious. I get a bit like, I want to do it now. Yeah. But nerves is like, I ain't got no time for nerves, bruv. Yeah. We got to record this show, bruv. That's the last thing I'm worried about. So, I get out this show now, smashed it. And there's a lot of times when I'm performing and I can see him in the room. So there's a couple glances where I'm like, right, he's laughing at that bit. Watch this bit. So, my last joke, I used to do this slow motion thing, right? So I'm like, yeah, and left. And then you do it like that. That used to be like, when The Rock does the people's elbow.
It's a finishing move.
Yeah, as a comic, you have your, whoa, this is what you guys that laugh at none of the other stuff. Watch when I do this bit. Yeah. So then, I was just like, oh, what did he think? 2-3 days later. Yeah, he really liked it. He said he'd be in touch, He said he was great. And then it turned out it was like, yeah, Mo's great. Just don't really know what to do, with him. And I was getting polite no's, which was very frustrating for me because everyone's saying you're really good, but no. You're like, just say I'm shit. Just say you weren't good enough. Yeah. Now he goes around telling everyone, yeah, I was the guy that, said no to Mo Gilligan. Gosh, what was I thinking, man? And there's a part of me that fills me with a bit of joy when I hear that. But at the same time, I wasn't meant to have that yes. Yes, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a nice bargaining to have. You go tell everyone that you denied me, but at the same time, I'm like, it's calm though, isn't it?
Do you know what? It's really interesting having this conversation now because I am at that stage in this new part of my career, which is really weird and also a fantastic sort of refresher / wake up / smack in the face where people are saying no. Yeah. Because I got so used to what documentary do you want to do next? It's commissioned. Yes. Just tell me what you want to do. We're doing it. Yeah. Right. So to walk away from that to, I spent the last 6 months writing this thing. I poured everything I have into it. I don't have time to read it, So no. Why don't you go back to do what you do?
And how are you finding writing? Because everyone writes differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how are you finding this process of writing?
It's the most, writing and then going on to direct. Because there is a distinction. So to give you some context, I had 3 green lights in a week, right? And that's not that doesn't happen. That's very rare. And to be even more clear, I've been writing for 10 years, quietly, sharing script with my team, them going, that's dead, don't ever show that to anyone else, come again, sharing it to my friends, them going, all right, yeah, you might want to read a few more books, bruv. All of that's happened over the last decade. And then I got my first feature film as a writer director greenlit the same week as I had Make Me Famous, which is a drama that I wrote for the BBC, and a script for a show that hopefully I'll have some news on shortly, a TV show, a drama, right? A serial drama series. All in the same week, all greenlit, right? And they wanted to shoot Make Me Famous at the same time as Pirates, my film. And so I couldn't direct both. Yeah. But I was slated to direct both. Yeah. So I had to make a decision, and obviously I'm going to do my first feature film, right? So I wrote this drama about the relationship between suicide and reality TV and our relationship with fame as an audience, right?
Do you mind me asking, what made you want to write that?
I'll be totally honest. They came to me and they said, we'd love you to write this thing. And I was like, I'm so excited to do this because I'm perfectly poised to write this. I've presented reality shows. I've been on TV for a long time, and I've seen every kind of celebrity you can think of come and go. Yeah. From pop stars to reality stars to whatever, because I presented those shows. I was interviewing the Spice Girls at 12 years old. I was talking to Five on album 1, and then on the album where they were desperately trying to get some sort of notice or some sort of attention, and nobody wanted to book them. We booked them because someone cancelled, and then you see how different they are versus album 1 when they're too hot and they don't even want to look in your face. Wow. Like, to see people go through that trajectory, I've seen that over and over again in music, in celebrity, in drama, in TV, in film, in all these different things. So to be able to put all of that in a script, especially with this new era affected and influenced massively by social media, was like a huge opportunity for me. I was itching to write it, but also I was itching to direct it, because the lead character I created was a fictional character, but he was an amalgamation of a lot of the boys I grew up with. It just so happens that this boy was confident and cocky enough that he ended up on a reality TV show. Yeah. And there was a certain way that I wanted things to go with that. And it went in a different direction because I was a different director, and it did beautifully. You know, the guy's getting nominated for awards now, and fingers crossed we'll get nominated for some big awards when, you know, the new year turns around. And there is a huge legacy for that show, and I really wanted to own it. You know, like Murdered by My Father, Murdered by My Boyfriend. It's the same sort of, it's the same strand, you know? So to produce it and to write it was a privilege, but I really wanted to direct it, and I had to let it go. At the same time, I'm having the most amazing experience directing this film that I love, but I'm looking at this other project and I'm going, it's happening at the same time and I want to be involved. And it's a painful thing, but it's a beautiful lesson to let certain things go, to know that certain things you can only control to a point. But at the same time, there are some things that you can really holistically own and own them as a success or a failure, but it's all a learning experience.
Yeah. Because I think that's kind of one thing I think I struggle with, because being a stand-up, when I'm on stage, it's me. It's me that's going to get on stage. It's me that might make him laugh. Me that might make him not. So getting into the creative space that I've kind of brought myself into when it comes to making videos, I've done it all myself, cut up the videos myself. Then I'm like, oh man, it's got to sound like we're in the street. How can I get street sounds? Well, YouTube, ambience. I would do all these things. So like the more TV and stuff I do, it's hard because sometimes I'm like,
you got to share it.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't think we should do that. I was like, what? We're going to do it. And I'm like, but no, I am saying no. Like, and it's hard because I am in a place where people do trust my creativity, where they're like, cool, like I trust what you're saying. And there has been instances where we've done certain things and I'm not being happy with it. And I know, you know, I've been very vocal, like, why did we do this? I said it wasn't going to work and it didn't work. And then we've kind of had another couple weeks and be like, cool, now it works. Told you. So it's hard because then I'm like, see, I told you. If it would have done it my way, it would have happened.
But the unfortunate truth is the bigger it gets, the more collaborative it has to be.
100%.
And if you are willing to sit at the top of the tree and say, you know what, we're doing it this way, you've also got to be willing to take the licks when you're wrong. Yes. And that's the thing that I'm learning now.